Okay, so we are recording. So in this one, we're going to start with topic, and then we're going to kind of move into stated main idea. Now, when you're reading, one of the things that will help you understand or increase your comprehension is to understand what the topic is that you're reading about and to identify it. The topic, and I guarantee this will be a question either on a quiz, a lesson, or something. I'll say, what is the topic? And I'm going to want you to define it. And it's pretty simple. In other words, don't overthink this. The topic is who or what a passage is about. Who or what it's about. A lot of times we think of this as like the subject. So if I ask you what's the subject of that passage, I'm asking you who or what is it about. Couple things to keep in mind when you're trying to identify a topic. It's usually a word or a phrase or a name. It's never a full sentence. So if you're looking for the topic, you're basically looking, okay, what's the simple subject? Or who or what is this passage about? And a rule of thumb, look for a word, a phrase, or a name of what that passage is about. Does that make sense? So let's say maybe you're having, I don't know, trouble, that you can't quite figure out what the topic is. Here are some strategies you can use. If you're looking for the topic and you just don't know what it is, you just see a bunch of words on the page. Look for a heading or a title first. Here are some strategies. Look for a heading and title. A lot of times, the author will reveal the subject or the topic within the heading of the passage or within the title. Now, I do want to caution you, it's not 100%, but a lot of times, right? So a good rule of thumb, can't figure out what the topic, see if there's a heading or a title. Another strategy is look for some special font in there. A lot of times it might be a bolded word or an italicized word, right? They're trying to give emphasis to it. So look for those things if you don't know what the topic is. The third thing you can look for is a repeated word or a phrase. Maybe they repeat a phrase throughout. They mentioned it more than once, maybe 2 or 3 times. And that would be an indicator of a topic. And the last trick or tip to look for is look for either a word, phrase, or name that's mentioned at the beginning of the passage. It's never mentioned again, but it's referred to throughout the rest of the passage. So an example of this might be Franklin D. Roosevelt. It says Franklin D. Roosevelt was one of our most famous presidents. He blah, blah, blah did this. He blah, blah, blah did that. He blah, blah, blah did that. They don't ever say that name again, but they refer to it. So then the entire passage would be about Franklin D. Roosevelt. Does that make sense? Give me a second. Good morning. Go ahead, sign, and then take a highlighter, please. Okay, so does that make sense? So the down and dirty for topic, who or what it's about. So pop quiz. If you have to define topic, Katie, what would you say? What is the topic? It seems like a trick question. It's not.
Like give you like an example, like
Nope. Nope. I'm gonna here's a test. Question number 1. Define topic.
Topic is what a passage is about.
Yep. Who or what? Who or what? Because sometimes it's a who. Who or what it's about. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Can a topic be a full sentence? Yes or no? Not usually, no. Right? Okay, it's a word or a phrase. Okay. If I don't know what the topic is, I would use these strategies. I'm going to look for a heading or a title. Maybe that'll give me the clue. I'm going to look for something in special font. Maybe there's an italicized word, a bold word, something. I'm going to look for repeated words. Maybe there's a word or a phrase that's repeated 2 or 3 times. And then I'm going to look for something that was mentioned and then referred to at the end. Those are my 4 strategies. Between those 4 strategies, I should be able to identify the topic. Make sense? Question on topic. Okay. I'm gonna pause my recording. Maybe. Okay, so you guys go ahead and just keep working. I want to make sure I go over the information for the recording. We are on main idea. The main idea is the author's main point about the topic. So what helps is if you find the topic first, that word or phrase. The main idea will always have the topic word in it or a synonym of that word. It'll be a full sentence. It'll make sense by itself. For the recording. So remember, main idea, and what we worked on today is stated main idea. Stated means it is literally stated in the passage. There is a sentence in there that states what the main idea is. And it's the author's main point about the topic. So the best way to approach this is find the topic first, use those topic strategies. Then, okay, what's the author's main point about the topic? Here are things you check for to see if you're not sure you got the right sentence or not. Number one, does it have the topic in that sentence? So remember, it's the topic word, or it could be a synonym of that word. It also doesn't mean if it's a phrase that those two words are right next to each other, but they're both contained in it. There are several different ways to say something, right, without saying it too right. And this is a good example where we did the practice with students in college. Another way of saying that is college students. Make sense? Remember, when you're looking at it, does that main idea sentence make sense by itself? Can you lift it out and it makes sense all alone? In other words, it's not dependent on the rest of the information for you to understand the meaning of that sentence. And then the last one, is it a general sentence? And a general means it sums up the rest of the information that's contained in the passage. The best way to kind of really look at that is make sure it doesn't have details. Details, list specific things, years, statistics, all those kinds of things. Okay? So when you are looking at passages to try to help comprehension, if you're not quite sure what that passage means, start with topic, identify the topic. Now you know who or what it's about, and then look for the stated main idea, because that'll be the author's point about that passage. Now, we worked in paragraph form. So we just did paragraphs. A lot of times it is a paragraph. However, it could be longer. Sometimes passages are longer depending on what you're reading and what the subject matter is. So keep in mind, it's not always short. Sometimes it's a little bit lengthier. And that's where it helps sometimes if you can pull out and identify the topic, because if you know who or what it's about, you'll have an easier time finding and understanding what's the author's point they're trying to make about it. And of course, you know the trick for any kind of knowledge. First, you have to understand it before you can study and process it. Okay? I'm going to stop recording.